Hey, what's up everybody? This is the Mixbox Universal Edition by Mixbox Arcade. Regular viewers of my channel will know that I'm a dedicated leverless player, but I'm always down to try different kinds of controllers. Mixbox Arcade gave me the opportunity to try out their controller, so I gave it a shot and I'm gonna let you know my impressions about it as I used it over the past couple of weeks. The Mixbox combines traditional, old school arcade stick buttons and body weight with a WASD keyboard layout on the left. The Mixbox comes in a variety of models, but I received the standard layout Universal Edition. This means this controller works on PS5 straight out of the box thanks to the Brook Universal PCB inside. The Mixbox also comes in a model with an angled WSAD layout, which I think is a great idea for people who like to play and practice fighting games for hours on end, since it's more ergonomic than a straight ahead layout that I have here. Now the first thing that I noticed is that this thing is a tank. The body has no plastic and is made out of some kind of metal, although I'm not sure exactly what kind of metal it is for sure. This controller weighs about 5.5 pounds and measures almost exactly the same as a traditional hitbox, except it has a wrist rest. Now when I put this on my lap, I noticed that both the size and weight of this controller felt really good. There was no slipping on my lap and I never felt like I was thinking about my leg position or how hard I was resting my hands on the controller. It stays exactly where you put it and I think that's great. However, due to the size of this controller, I don't think it's suited for tabletop play. This is definitely a controller you're going to be wanting to play on your lap. Now as you can see, the start, select, share, and turbo buttons are located on the back of the controller with the L3, R3, and touchpad buttons on the right. While this controller doesn't have a tournament mode setting to disable the buttons on the back and sides, I feel like they're located in a place far away enough from your main buttons to never cause any issues in a tournament. Having said that, a tournament mode button would have been a nice feature to have. Unlike some other large body controllers, the Mixbox has an angled wedge-shaped piece on the front you can rest your wrists on. This was really comfortable to use and I think it felt great. The right side buttons are the gold standard for fighting game controllers, Sanwa Denshi 30mm buttons. Next, we have the main draw of this controller, and that's the WASD buttons on the left. The left arrow keys use Cherry MX red switches, which I really liked. You could also swap them out for Cherry MX blacks or silvers, but I liked the reds because it felt really good between the left hand and the right hand. I didn't feel like there was much of a learning curve at all when trying out this controller, since the WASD is pretty standard for anybody with PC experience. And even though this isn't a leverless controller, it has the option to turn on Capcom approved SOCD settings of down plus up equals neutral. This meant it was really easy for me to do things like Korean backdashing in Tekken and charge attacks in Street Fighter 6 on my first try without any practice. And I think that's the biggest draw of this controller, no practice. Now as I played with this controller, something became clear to me. It felt much better to use in Tekken 8 than it did in Street Fighter 6. My main character in Street Fighter 6 is Guile, and to be honest, it felt really awkward to do flash kick motions, and this is because the down and up buttons are both controlled by your middle finger, whether you're on the 1-player or 2-player sides. I felt myself wishing that there was a jump button on the bottom of this controller as well. I think adding an additional jump button would be a great quality of life feature for Mixbox Arcade to add to this controller. Now, this wasn't an issue for me in Tekken, since it doesn't have charge motions. Actually, sidestepping in either direction and transitioning to and from movement techniques like Korean backdashes, wave dashes, and fuzzy guard felt quick and easy to do. One thing that I felt was really easy to do on Mixbox in Tekken 8 was doing Korean backdashes, because all you have to do is double tap back, and as you're holding back, you tap down, release, and then go back to back, and it would look something like this. Or if you want, because this controller does has SOCD cleaning settings, you could just hold back, tap on forward and down, and alternate between those two. And there we go. You get a nice easy Korean backdash. Now it is difficult to do the SOCD method on the 2-player side because of your middle finger and ring finger being your main buttons, but I feel like doing Korean backdash the standard way on the 1-player side is actually pretty easy. And this is because this controller uses Cherry MX Reds, which I feel are really responsive and just great to the touch overall. After using this controller, I really thought that it's better suited for Tekken 8 and less so for Street Fighter 6, but that's just my opinion and your results may vary. Thanks again to Mixbox Arcade and FightStickAsia.com for sending me this controller and letting me try it out. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel as it helps support me as a content creator. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.